Greetings, Israelites and Gentiles. Blessings and peace to my brothers and sisters that are in the fold, and blessings and peace to those who are coming to this channel for the first time. Blessings to you. Today we're going to be talking about three things. We're going to be talking about this entanglement that I think is ridiculous, and then we're going to be talking about our brothers and sisters that have gotten jobs and have awoken to this truth and are started working. Hey, we have to give a shout out to them, because there are some who just woke and came to this truth, and they got jobs, and they're doing well. But sometimes they feel like people they throw little bows and shoot their little shots at me. We're going to talk about that. And then the last but not least, we're going to talk about the Atlas of the Great Comets. We see these comets. I think it's the Comet Neowise is out right about now, but I think it's another one too as well that's on the scene. It's very important to know what's going on this earth. It's very important to know what's going on in the skies. If God has given you wisdom and revelation, please do tell. Your body and your people would like to know. Nevertheless, let's start with this entanglement. Now, we know where this word entanglement comes from in regards to this time that we're talking about in today's time, with what's going on with, who I don't even want to mention the name, because, when we look at life and all the things that's going on, you got to be talking about your relationship. I believe if you have an issue with your husband or with your wife or with your spouse in general, that should be kept at home. I don't care to hear about really what's going on with your wife or with your husband unless you know that person, and you have a relationship with that person. But when you put this stuff on broadcast, guess what? That's a key indication to me that you're either an attention seeker or you're just trying to pull the wool over my eyes. And I think it's the latter. You're trying to pull the wool over my eyes and pull the wool over all our brothers and sisters' eyes so we can keep our minds unfocused on what we need to be focused on. But brothers and sisters, we're not like that, are we? Nope, we're not like that. So here's the blessing behind this. So I just was going through this entanglement, this whatever, this crazy crap that was going on. When you look up the definition of entanglement, it says that a person that is in a relationship that's difficult and hard to get out of. Now, here's the thing. I could say this. We do know why these quote-unquote secular ministers, and that's the terminology I've given them, secular, because they're only getting the crumbs of the word. And then on top of that, these pastors and ministers that are in this church that are quoting this entanglement, it doesn't make any sense, because when two come together in a marriage, they become one. And we know this to be true, not to be unequally yoked. As the time that we're living in now, what do we see during this COVID-19? People leaving their spouses, people coming out, hey, I've been blase, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? But brothers and sisters, if you are married, and you all already know, I don't even have to say it, you keep your, we have gotten into a time in our life, and some have gotten into time in their life in this world, you don't know how to cherish anything. There's things I have at my house that I cherish that, guess what, I would never talk about. There's some things that I cherish that's dear to me, of my elders, meaning my grandmother, my grandfather, that I cherish. Some things I have shared with my significant other and shared with my family, but other things I haven't, because guess what, I cherish them. So if you have things that you cherish, you keep that at home. But like I said, we already know why they did it, because they try to pull the wool over our eyes. But you can't pull the wool over our eyes. We can see all things. When it comes to Christ and we're walking in Christ and we walk with the Most High, we can see all things, because guess what? He sees all things, and He shows us the things in every particular time or season that is needed. So I thank the Most High for that. Now, The second point that I want to get to is my brothers and sisters that have gotten jobs during this season that we're in, man. Shout out and blessings to you, because with all these things going on, this COVID-19, and then they say there's another sickness, that's another disease that's on its way, and we're going to talk about that briefly. When we hear these things, and my brothers and sisters has gotten these jobs, I'm just so thankful to the Most High, because like I said, we're living in a time where people don't trust people. Some of these jobs, people have gotten these jobs because they were in cahoots, friends of a friend, or a friend of a relative, or a cousin. So, what's the saying that we always say, when we go to our jobs? We always say, I know there's going to be some issues here. You know what? Let me tell you something. Let's pump the brakes on that. Because I feel that if your employer, especially if it's a black company now, if it's a black company and the time that we're living in, guess what? We shouldn't be doing no fighting with one another. We shouldn't be arguing, disputing anything with one another. Especially, okay, let me just put it like this, and I'm not going to say no names or put anything out there, because I'm telling y'all, when I tell y'all these stories, these are true stories. It was a black-owned company, and a worker went there, and they didn't have any food to eat, and they just started working and everything, and they were hungry, and they went to an individual and say, hey, they can get something to eat or anything. If your brother and your sister come to you asking for food, give them food. For crying out loud. If you even see a Gentile, a person from another nation, a stranger that is hungry, feed them. I'm gonna let y'all know straight up. The Most High has given me a few lessons to drop. I'm gonna drop them, but He told me, Kels, I want you to sit back and watch. And that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting back, I'm watching, I'm reading, and I'm listening, and I'm just feeling the spirit of the body as a whole. And the Holy Spirit told me, Brother Kahiel, or Kelsey, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. The body is coming together as one. But there are some within the body perpetrating. Then there are some within the body, they feel as if they have to be worshipped. Or their belly's got to be rubbed. Or their back got to be pat. And for the sake of that, they are keeping others from coming in. And they're also causing a divide. So you brothers and sisters, you know who you are. Stop it, man. Come on. Seriously, stop it. You know what I mean? So back to my brothers and sisters that got these jobs, and they're hungry, and, feed them, If you see people that don't have any clothes, clothe them. Because outside of YouTube, y'all, that's what Brother Kahiel do. I go and feed the hungry. I gather some clothes. I give clothes to those who need clothes. These are the things that I do. And those were a few of the things that I did before I came to YouTube. I saw YouTube as an avenue to push the word out, to kind of, wake up the masses. Because I love people, and I have a love, really a big love for my people. That's the Israelite and the Gentile, okay? Last but not least, we're going to go, this is a book that I have here, the Atlas, the Great Comets. Y'all, when you hear your brothers and your sisters telling you that things are not going to go back to normal, we're not making this stuff up. We are not making this stuff up. So, just cutting straight to the chase because I'm on lunch break and I only have so long of a time to talk. But you all will be hearing more from me. Like I said, I do have some lessons that I'm going to be dropping. But how many of us, how many of you all do know that, it takes time to read this stuff and study, because the Lord says, study to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth. So, when we go in, we have to precept these things. These scriptures and the text, it has to make sense, because guess what? If it doesn't make sense to me, I can't even tell you. And if there's anything that you all see that I'm reading or that I'm missing, hey, drop it in the comment. This is a open discussion, an open learning platform, not only just for you all, but for me as well. This is open. And not only that, but I did want to say this. The first 5 people who drop a comment and leave something down there and hit the like button, I'm going to have my email up under the description. And if you're the first 5, you drop that comment, send me your email. I'm going to get back at you, and I'm going to have a gift for you. How about that one? Because I'm in the avenue of blessing folks. You know what I'm saying? It is a blessing to receive, but in the text that I know, it says it's better to be a blesser, to give. So it's better to give than to receive. You know what I mean? But so I'm in the avenue of giving and blessing. That's what Brother Kahiel like doing, man. That's what I love doing. Because you never know. You never know when you might need that help. And I've been there before, and I needed that help, and I thank you, brothers and sisters, who have helped me. And, hey, shalom. All right, nevertheless, let's get to it. So when we say that things are not going to go back normal, especially when I say things are not going to go back to normal, because I've been, like I said, I've been watching, and I've been seeing the trends, and I've been doing my research and seeing, a lot of laws passing, and so many laws passing that people not even understanding what's going on. And all I can say is watch what you do on YouTube, on Facebook, and on these certain platforms. Watch closely what you do. And not only that, look up the laws pertaining to these social platforms. Now, nevertheless, jumping right in. Now, these comets is interesting because when these comets come, let's see if I can show this to you. When these comets come, I'm going to show you a few pictures. Let's see if I can see one. A lot of disastrous things happen. Here's one picture. As you see, this is a beautiful book. I would recommend anyone who likes to know about the stars. And I think I'm subscribed to Naima, so I watch Naima, and I got this book. So as she goes through certain things, I just try to match stuff up, and I match stuff up with this and then with the text, and I'm like, whoa, God dropped some revelation on me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we learn. We share what we learn. And the beauty behind this, as we learn, we're coming together as one. For the Most High and Yeshua, they're not coming back in no wise until we become one. And I'm going to keep stressing that fact. So this brother that's out here doing his thing, let him do his thing. If the Most High told him to do that, let him do that. I think it's a good thing, to be honest, because I'm tired of seeing my brothers and sisters trampled over and mistreated. So if we got a big brother that's holding us down and doing it lawfully and legally, hey, man, all blessings to you, brother. Much love. All right, now back to this. This is just a graph here, and I want to show a few pictures of just this book and things. A lot of cool stuff in this book. No, I'm a picture person, y'all. I'm a picture learner, and I learn things by picture, but I also learn things by reading too, and I learn things by watching. All right, so here's another little cool picture. It shows you the stars, the constellation, and then it shows you this comet zipping through. Now, to the meat, and this is at the very beginning, y'all. Y'all gonna love this. Check this out. So, all right, it says comets as portents of disaster. In Antiquity, in parallel with the astrological interpretation, the idea arose that comets were a sign of negative changes. For one thing, they were seen as prodigies, disturbances of order that had to be reestablished by the general public. But a comet could also be an omen affecting a particular person or event. Then intervention was required to avert the disaster. Even Pliny believed that comets were terrifying signs. Punishment was difficult to avoid. It is thought that their influences depends what objects they look like and where they appear, If they appear like flutes, they are related to music, but to obscene matters when they appear in the private parts of the constellations. To understanding and learning, if they form 3 or 4 sided equiangular figures with nearby fixed stars. To the making of poisons when they appear in the head of the northern or southern serpent. Okay? The ruler's court astronomers, however, did look for positive indications from comets, but it was not always clear whether comets should be considered part of or a disturbance of the divine order. Seneca, in his Naturalist Questions, opposed the interpretation of comets as presages of disasters. So you see, as you read, sometimes these books will give you references to where you need to go next. So where I probably would go next is I probably would buy the book Naturalist Questions, by Seneca. I'll probably check that out if I can find it, if they even have the book. Sometimes you'll look up to other sources and they'll reference out other sources. Sometimes you won't even find it, but that's how you know you might have been hijacked. Okay. All right. So where we leave off at? Okay. In his Natural Questionnaires, opposed the interpretation of comets as presages of disaster. He viewed them as part of the divine order that could not be understood by humans. In most other cultures around the world, occurrences of comets were interpreted as negative signs independently of one another. The celestial appearances were linked to drought, enemies, illness, and death. The Australian Aborigines, for example, became worried at the appearance of a comet. It was seen as a bad sign that might portend death, malevolent spirits, or evil magic. The New Zealand Maoris called comets Aurora or Ahatora, which meant long smoke. Among the Aztecs, too, who called them Scintilla-Popoca, in parentheses, smoking stars, close parentheses, comets were taken as a sign of disaster. All right, now we're just going to jump right into it in the astrological comet types. This is the astrological comet types. I'm going to put this back up here so you'll be able to see it. Now I'm going to read it and then I'm going to be finished because, y'all, I want to get a little something to eat. I'm starving, you know what I'm saying? I'll probably get a little piece of fruit or something for real. All right, now, here we go. Astrological comet types. All right. Pliny had already developed a classification scheme that was employed well into modern times. According to Girolamo Cordano, there were various types from the appearance of which one could derive the consequences on Earth. Now, I just want to go over my quick notes before I continue reading this. So, over what I just read, just to give you some quick notes that you can jot down to for your own purpose of truth and wisdom. The duration of appearance and closeness to the sun equals the length of the event. So, the duration of the comet and the closeness to the sun is the length of whatever event. All right. You remember it also said if the private parts of the constellation obscure the scene of the appearance in the private parts of a constellation, then you know that it's the making of poisons. If it appears in the head of the northern or southern serpent, it's the making of poisons as well. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. If it comes into the private parts, then you know it's dealing with fertility. Sorry, I am so sorry, it's dealing with fertility. But if it appears in the head of the northern and southern serpent, it's the making of poisons. So forgive me. So, again, if it goes to the private parts of the appearance of a constellation, if the comet goes in that area, then you know it's dealing with fertility. If it goes into the northern and southern serpent and appears around the head, it's dealing of the making of poisons. Now, what do we see now? What are they trying to drop on the African people? I'm just going to leave that right there. Okay? Now, I wouldn't have thought this wouldn't have been true. But based on the time I'm living in and based on the information that I received and based on what Bill Yates, whatever his freaking name is, I care less about that dude. You see what he's trying to do. You see his whole agenda. We ain't going for it. All right? All right, so I'm going to continue reading, and then I'm going to sign off here. All right. So, number 1, Vera. This is a very long and thin, accompanies the sun, is terrible, and is a mixture of the natures of Saturn and Mercury. It destroys crops and states and kills noblemen and princes. This is the astrological comet types. That's what I'm reading. The astrological comet types. Astrological comet types. That's what I'm reading, okay? So these different names that I'm reading off are just different comet types. Number 2, the Coenoculum. Another is very large, long and broad, and is of the nature of the moon and signifies general evil. Number 3, Pratica. The third is large and very long, like the first, but not as wide as the second. Both of these two have their tails directed away from the sun, but the third has a thick, dense, and rounded tail and signifies a shortage of water and infertility. So you remember what I was saying? So there again, I'm going to read it again. This is number 3. Pratica, the third is large and very long, like the first, but not as wide as the second. Both of these two have their tails directed away from the sun, but the third has a thick, dense, and rounded tail and signifies a shortage of water and infertility. If it is also linked to Saturn, then deaths follow among the general populace and among old people. If with Jupiter, they will be among rulers and high priests. With Mars, great wars and many deaths. With the sun, famous rulers will be struck. With Venus, great drought and infertility. With Mercury, deaths by mysterious means or secret acts. With the moon, deaths among the general populace. It is like the nature of Mars with the sun or Mercury. Number 4, Mars. The fourth has a great brilliance like the moon and affects the whole zodiac through which it passes, and it signifies the formation of sex and parties. Sex meaning S-E-C-T, different areas. It has the nature of Venus and also means great drought and infertility and affects the female sex and those of youthful age. Ascanis, the fifth, is prepossessing of the color of the sky with a long tail and is of the nature of Mercury. It signifies war, the death of outstanding men, serious illnesses, and similarly treachery and violence, bad times, denunciations, and similar ills. Now, if there's anyone who has a picture of Comet Wise from the state of Georgia, from the state of any of the neighboring states, and you run into this video, please email me, please, or drop the link to the picture or whatever you have in the comments so we can see it, all right? So we can, any up on this wisdom, all right? You know what I'm saying? We all moving as a body. We're moving as a unit. You know what I mean? Let me tell you this once again. Everybody can be the foot. Everybody can be the left foot. Everybody can be the hand. Everybody can be the left hand. Everybody can be the arm. Everybody can be the left arm. You follow me? All right. So, look. Don't knock yourself what part of the body you are. Just be proud and thankful that you're a part of the body. Right? All right. Aurora, the sixth, is a red and has a long red tail, but not so great as the fifth, and is of the nature of Mars and signifies heat and drought, famine, war, conflagrations, and generally applies in the hot regions. That's another interesting thing. All right, Argentum. The seventh is like pure silver. It flashes so much that it may be seen with the eye only with great difficulty. It is of the nature of Jupiter and means changes in reigns and in the public life, which are good, but which are linked to great confusion. And its size signifies rich harvests and foodstuffs, mighty winds, and a healthy composition of the air. That's Argentum. That's beautiful. Rosa, last but not least. And we're going to come back out of this book, y'all, because, like I said, I have tons of books, but I only got 2 eyes, So, I can only move as fast as I can. Then, I got to go to work. I'm not on COVID-19 anymore, but I thank the Most High because guess what? I ain't got no fatigue. All right, now, Rosa. The ninth is also large and fashioned like a man, and its color is a mixture of the six. Aurora and the seventh, Argentum, it signifies the death of noblemen and the mighty, changes for the better, and is of the nature of the sun. And if comets appear at a great solar eclipse, then they very particularly signify strange consequences, blessings, and peace.